right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Wichita Paramotor Coast to Coast, brought to you by Light Flight and Kangook America. Wanted to let everybody know we got some classes coming up. We've got the ladies only, May 26th through June 5th, and our standard boot camps coming up, and that starts on June 8th through June 18th. So today I have probably the best guest that we could ever have on a podcast. This guy has so much personality and so much to say. Plus, he's always on the cusp of what's happening in paramotor. But we're going to do what we usually do. We're going to talk to paramotor people about paramotor stuff and paramotor things. All right, and we are back. So our guest today needs no real introduction. This guy is probably one of the funnest guys you've ever seen on the internet. And, I got to meet him about, it was about 3 or 4 years ago at Endless Foot Drag, and just hit it off with this guy right off the bat. In fact, the first time I met him, he walked out of his trailer in a kimono with a stiff drink. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want everybody to put their hands together for let me bring this big guy up because we are on Zoom together. I know I lost him. There he is. Everybody, welcome.
What's the haps, Jack? Good to see you, Leo.
Buttered Steve, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to the show. So glad you could join us.
You know, you're a little flattering saying that I'm on the cusp and I'm really interesting because, I don't fly that much and I'm actually pretty boring in person.
Well, I don't know about that. Like I said, I've gotten to hang out with you, and I really, really enjoy all the time that I've gotten with you. You've always had something cool to say or something snazzy, so,
You got to entertain the crowd. What you got for me? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I know you've got this awesome company called D2F Paramotor, and you guys have got apparel, you've got instruction classes, you've got all kinds of cool stuff. Tell me a little bit about D2F.
Allegedly. I keep telling people if they want to make a web store and design shirts, they can do that, and they could just keep all the money. I really don't care. I don't have time to do that myself, even though it'd be funny. I don't have time to do it.
Well, I'll tell you,
but
one of the favorite things I saw was the jock strap that the old paramotor safety device.
So that was actually the start of D2F Paramotor. So D2F Paramotor is it's really just a vehicle for humor. It was initially, the birth of it started last year. Matt Gregg and R2P was coming on the scene, and I would do my normal Steve comments, and they'd push gear, and I'd say something like, you got to have more apparel options like a jock strap. And he came back and he's like, quit making these comments on my posts. and it wasn't mean spirited. I didn't want to dog on somebody. And in fact, what a lot of people don't know is I don't necessarily operate in a vacuum. Like I'm friends with pretty good friends with some schools and suppliers and stuff, and they'll actually send me ideas. You just don't see that interaction online. And so, you know, he wasn't cool with that. But the thing is when it comes to a lot of names of businesses, there's a lot of goofy ones. You know, you have R2P, you have P2F, and different things. And so it just became a vehicle of like, here's a fake school that, you know, we use that as like subject matter for any kind of random joke that comes in my head. Because one of our biggest problems, like most of the people in the sport are pretty relaxed, they're pretty cool, a good sense of humor, and even a lot of different types of people and different styles. Like we could always come together and have a good time and appreciate each other. You know, go to fly-ins and compare that to maybe what happens on Facebook. It's a totally different thing. But there are a number of loud people too, and especially it comes from the business world a lot. The business world tends to be can be pretty bad, but you get a lot of people that just they take themselves too seriously. They're in it for, you know, money or themselves, which is it's been a problem like that for a long time, and it's gotten a lot better. But you know, one of the best things we can do to like just learn and create community and friends is just don't take yourself too seriously.
I totally agree. And, you know, on top of that, you know, I would like to know a little bit about your background. So where did you grow up?
So I was a military brat. I grew up on Air Force bases. My dad was a nuclear missile silo technician. So I eventually got stuck in North Dakota. I was going to be getting into science engineering. I was a big book nerd because I moved up there from Missouri. And in Missouri, I was an outdoors kid. I was getting intramural sports. And then I moved in the middle of a school year and then had a hard time making friends. And then I became like a shut-in nerd. And so eventually when I went to graduate high school, I was kind of thinking, you know, I don't want my life stuck behind a computer. And I want to break out of my shell and meet people in community. But at that time, I had gotten into jazz piano and gotten scholarship with that and stuff. And I was like making friends. And I thought, oh, I want to be a music teacher. So I went to college for 7 years for music ed and jazz piano, and then dropped out without a degree. I have 180 credits and no degree, and just got a bunch of student loans. So immediately after that, I started working at this huge cemetery funeral home where my family ended up moving to, just as started there as a temp, because I used to love outdoor jobs. I would just weed eat parks and stuff for outdoor jobs in college. But I stayed there long enough that they found I was good with computers, so I got into the office full time. Then they made me the office manager, and then randomly they made me the ground superintendent because it was corporately owned, and the general managers didn't get along with the grounds guys, but I always took care of them. And so I was like, wait, you want me to run a shop because I know how to run a weed eater? Because I'm really dumb with mechanics. Like I'll be like, hey, hand me that job you do. And they'll be like, that Phillips head screwdriver, Steve? But I took care of the guys these are guys my dad's age. So they trained me up super fast to make me successful. So I became a really good backhoe driver, and I knew how to take care of the park. And did that till 2020. And then 2020 is the year I found paramotors because I went through a life disaster. I got a divorce, and I left that career all in the same year. Oh, and wow. So that was my whole identity. Last decade, I didn't have Facebook because I was a corporate manager, and I'm not mature enough to have social media in that sort of environment. and so I was very mild-mannered. Like my entire life was my wife and my job. That was it. We got a home, had chickens, and I was working on the house. Like my life was very narrow and quiet then. But when that all blew up, I kind of like just lost myself. And I found paramotors during that time because I was still always curious about science and aeronautics. And then I was like, I did enough research that I was like, oh, if I do stuff right, I won't hurt myself or kill myself. And I promised myself if I pick myself up again, that's something I would do. And sure enough, I found a good job again where they were really supportive. They were like, hey, you work hard, you play hard, go and chase this down. And then that became my first couple of years where, you know, I got to fly all over the country and all the big fly-ins. I flew Oshkosh And I was really curious about the people. So I studied and stalked people like crazy. And so I got to know who everybody was, which was pretty neat. And went through a rough spell even with my first instructor, who was an instructor admin, and he turned out to be a scammer. Then I had to get rescued from another school. And so that also kind of shaped my attitude, that when I started exploring the community, I started right away. I knew the beautiful spots about it, but then I also knew the really dark things about it too that kind of drove me nuts. And then, you know, a couple of years ago, I got married and moved out to Oregon and tried free flight, which is an entirely different beast. You just don't know what you get. Every LZ is different. Every instructor is different. And I got in with a rush job. I was around the wrong crowd. I got injured during training. But part of my goal during that period of time was I wanted to be more well-rounded. I didn't want my life to just be paramotors. Like, I wanted to be happy on the ground. And I found it there. I found this small dairy town in the small community. And within 6 months, half of the people there knew who I was and made them my friend. Kind of doing what I did in paramotors. I'd lurk in county community groups, but I wouldn't be vulgar. I would be like, I would support small businesses and people and do glamour videos on them. And it was a blast. I got invited to do all sorts of stuff. And my life was really, really cool. And I was really happy there for a while. But then life blew up again. And last year I moved home and got a divorce, unfortunately, which really wrecked me for a year. And there was a period of time I had flown the motor for a while. But last year, cargo trailer on a cheap budget, rebuilt my motor, went to endless foot drag, flew again, and then
it's actually been a lot of fun watching you build that thing on the internet. I mean,
it's fun. It kind of saved my mental health at that time, just being busy and having something good to work on. I had quit drinking when I started doing all that, so that helped me be really productive. And so this weekend, I'm going to take it to the next level. I'm going out to Utah to go learn free flight at Point of the Mountain with Chris Santa Croce.
Oh, wow.
Because free flight is something that really intrigues me about it compared to motoring, because it's more like a chess game. You really have to understand your wing so much more, the air, your terrain. But also there's just something freeing about it. Like, it feels way different compared to being hooked in on a motor. Like, when you go through turbulence, instead of it being really jarring speed bumps, you know, it's more like drunken sailor. I don't get anxiety when I'm in those environments compared to like if I'm somewhere with a motor for some odd reason. I don't know. It's just something really interesting. And Chris has been very welcoming of me. And I'm like, this is a golden opportunity to go somewhere safe, because not every LZ is the same. Like, Point of the Mountain is a nice slope without boulders and trees. I got injured on one with a 60-degree gradient with boulders and trees.
Yeah, I remember you were kind of down for a little while, and did you break your leg or snap an ankle, or what actually happened? Tell us about that.
I almost broke a foot, but it didn't. But I did break a collarbone. I just took what happened was I was at a launch spot where I had about 10 feet from the edge, and we were doing almost no wind launches, which were not appropriate. And I inflated hard. The glider overshot me, and I couldn't brake check it when I was going over the edge, so it wasn't carrying my weight, and I just went and tumbled down pretty violently.
So you basically fell off the cliff.
Yeah, kind of. It was a pretty violent tumble. I wouldn't suggest doing it. But where I'm going, it's going to be more somewhere where I can just go up there and kite for a while and learn more skills. Like the other day, I was working on Cobras for the first time and actually kind of impressed myself. I didn't quite know what I was doing. I was just parawaiting and like watching Santa Croce videos and other free flight guys. And then I tried it, and I was super nervous because I used to get dragged in my first training because they had us kite in ridiculous winds. But I was out in 14 gusting 18, and I didn't get dragged at all. Like, I learned like there's so much that sometimes some of us are taught bad habits of paramotors, like if you're doing reverses, like plant your feet or whatever, but it's okay to jump towards your wing. You kind of depower it a little bit. You know, if it's blowing 15 and you're walking towards it at 5, you know, you're reducing some of the power out of it, and it doesn't, you don't have to brake check it so hard. And there's all these little nuances I'm kind of learning from the free flight guys. And it's just fun to be a little bit more competent at the wing. And now I got to apply that to actually getting airborne.
Have you ever done like an SIV class or thought doing one?
No. I don't know if I'll do one anytime soon. I mean, I'm friends with Andy Fuller. You know, I've thought about it. It's just not at the top of my priority list at the moment. Like, I don't have a distrust of my glider. I think this year I'm going to be kind of just slow and basic and just rework the foundations, because I've been out of the game for a bit too. So I need to work on confidence and consistency and just the basic fundamentals. You know, go back to working on spot landings all the time, making sure everything's consistent, and just taking it slower.
Do you actually have?
I don't know, maybe like 110, 120. It's nothing much. Some people think that I have all this experience. I really don't. I have a lot of kiting hours, but actual flight time, nah.
Well, I wouldn't call 100 flights, minimal. That's actually pretty good. A lot of people don't even get 100 flights a year.
Yeah, but I started like 5 years ago, so it's actually not that much. Like, my experience is harassing the hell out of people on Facebook.
And we enjoy it. I got to tell you, I love it. I love your antics. I love your posts, your videos. Also in the paramotor groups, I love it how you handle the, I don't know what you call them, the more serious people. I think you do really well with that. You've got a pretty level personality. And
well, it's a pretty fun group of people. I mean, like, even ones that, you know, you might see ones online that spar with me a little bit, or I mean, there's people out there that have said some pretty horrible, ugly things to me I would never say to my worst enemies. But what people don't notice is there's a lot of people, if you check like my Facebook, I'm actually friends with them, and like, sometimes we just cycle back around. We're like, why are we fighting? Oh, we're both pilots. Oh, you seem pretty cool. Maybe this wasn't worth it. And then we become friends. Like, I have a lot of friends that started off with just being rude and arguing, and then we cycle back around. And I think that's a beautiful thing. That's what's kind of cool about the community, is we're all a bunch of odd ducks. You know, none of us are special. Like, even the special people out there you think are special, no, they're just people. You know, right. People are just people.
I totally agree. Now, the other thing I want to find out, what are you flying? Like, what's your wing? What's your motor? And what have you flown in the past?
Well, I've only flown my Parajet Maverick. I got a 21 meter Dudek Solo. I downgraded that from a 24 meter because that was really boaty, and I wanted something more dynamic. But I haven't even tied in tip steer. You know, free flight wise, I hate using that. Well, one, because it's not efficient. The risers are super busy. In free flight, you really want to be able to work your rear risers and your A's and not be jumping over pulleys and stuff. So, like, some of the simple risers, like a BGD Magic, I used to love having fun with, because I had this dune that was 230 feet tall. It was at Cape Kiwanda, and I used to bring the Magic for that all the time. So when I go out to Utah, I'm probably going to want a dedicated paraglider wing just for free flight. Just because I want those simple risers, and I want something that I can kite a lot with. I'm thinking something like a JIT Calypso or something like that. We'll see what Santa has used, and if he doesn't have anything used that I want, I might buy new, just because I'm just kiting a lot more, and I plan on doing one of these trips maybe once a quarter.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the BGD Magic was actually the first wing I ever flown, and I loved it. You know, got probably 20, 30 flights on it, and then I went to a Mac Paracharger, and that was I was on that for probably a couple of years. And then I got a Luna and played with the F3. I've flown the F5. I
would go back down to something boaty myself, slow and boaty, just to work on fundamentals again, because like I don't do a lot of cross country, And acro wise, the most I ever do is I'll throw like half my wing down past the horizon, but it's still nowhere near a wing over. And it's not something I'm interested in at the moment. So I would go slow at Bodie again.
Yeah, I'm not really an acro guy. I mean, I'll demonstrate it and whatnot for students, and it always looks a little hokey because I don't do it all the time. But yeah, I'm a low and slow kind of guy. I like just cruising around, foot dragging, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, are we traveling? Uh-oh, I lost your audio.
There we go.
There we go.
Nope, you're good now. I just swapped from the truck. I just got to my RC park. So this is kind of cool. I'll be able to show you what my new LZ looks like. So I joined a remote control aircraft club, and they have this awesome field that is out in the country surrounded by farmland, which is great because not a whole lot of rotor sources. I can come out here in higher wind days and the gust factor isn't as bad.
Now you're
but I mean, they've got a hangar.
Right?
Yeah. They got like a mini runway because they'll do jets and stuff out here. But, you know, I got all of that, and I can come out here by myself a lot. I can't fly myself if they're running the jets, but, you know, they're super curious about what I do. So they've been very welcoming. And so I decided to join as a member, and then I'll do photography and videography for themselves as like service. And what I'm doing today is they needed a weed eater, and I'm donating mine because I don't need it because I live in a cargo trailer in my mother's driveway. So just doing something nice for them.
Nice.
But yeah, I get all that can be my playground. And I'm super happy that I got this where it's just a nice, safe spot that I know I won't piss anybody off, you know, and I can have the privacy. I don't know if I want to fly out here in my dress. I might weird them out, but
dude, I absolutely love the dress. You know, to be able to have that kind of confidence, to be able to go in paramotor in a dress and not have second thoughts about it. I'll be honest. I almost wore a dress.
I wouldn't call it confidence. I just don't have anything else to lose.
Yeah, I was looking at a cute little pink number just to put on for you in this show, and I don't know, man, I couldn't commit. So
yeah, I'm hoping the weather's going to be nice in Utah, so I can bust out the new classy dress. I got a little storyboard I want to do for that. I was kind of smart this time around. There's a way I fly with 360s. I'll carabiner my stick to like one of the butt straps. And then when I'm flying, I can extend a stick and lay it across my lap so I can have the view of like a co-pilot, which I enjoy working with when I go to edit. But I don't want videoing getting in the way of free flight practice. Because you can have lines tangle and it's just a danger. I want to make sure I know what I'm doing first. But I'd still like to capture things. So I actually bought like a neck mount so I could just wear it on my chest. And I've got like a wrist and a leg strap so I can stick it down there and make it flush with my skin. So it's out of the way. It's not distracting. And because I don't want to give the impression like, oh, he's running a camera, that's why he's here, you know, because my first goal is to fly well, be successful.
Well, and the videography is a lot of a big part of your online personality. I enjoy your videos. The last one that I saw was you doing the Cobras, and I think you were running around the field you're on, and you had a cool classic rock song going, and having a blast. You know, in all the stuff you do, we can definitely tell you're having fun. So, I mean, is that an outlet for you to just keep you busy? Is it a passion?
Yeah. Hey, Leo, can I pause you for just a minute? I'm going to go say hi to one of my RC guys.
Okay, well, we'll go check out your sponsors while you do that, or our sponsors while you do that.
Yep, so I just put that right underneath the tractor.
Thank you, sir.
That's my That's my battle axe. That's the only
So-
good thing. That's the only thing I'm good at in life is weed eating.
He is going to go take care of some business there. Let me see. Gotta bear with me, guys. I actually don't know. How do I mute him? I gotta mute him. All right, there we go. We shouldn't have any audio now.
They fly.
Yeah, we sure do. All right. Well, I want to tell everybody one of the sponsors that I am absolutely in love with is Can Cook America. So if you want a good motor and a good source for picking up a machine, go check out CanCookAmerica.com. Paramotor strikes quads, and they set up on all the machines you could probably want to, or set up on all the motors you could probably set them up on too. They do paramotor strikes parts. They're right here in the U.S., so you don't have to worry about a lot of shipping. Quality performance without the forefront of price. They can be easily assembled in about 2 minutes, constructed in a Canada factory, built by pilots for pilots. That's CanCookAmerica.com. Go check them out. Mention Wichita Paramotor, and they might let me know about it. Also, if you are looking for Vitarazi motors, go check out lightflight.us. That's lightflight.us. They are the Midwest importer for Vitarazi. They've got the Atom 80, the EFI, Moster 185, Factory R, and Cosmos 300. They're a full supplier for Vitarazi parts. So if you need stuff for your hourly maintenance or just need to pick up a little part, carburetor rebuilds, that kind of thing. They also sell props and helmets, throttles, harnesses, paramotor covers, apparel, and strobes, anything you could possibly need. Go check them out. Also, if you are in the Midwest area and you are looking to learn how to paramotor, come check us out at wichitaparamotor.com. We have a full service website as well. Again, we've got classes coming up. We got a ladies only coming up May 26th through June 5th and a boot camp. That's a 10-day boot camp where we supply absolutely everything. All you need is good shoes and a sack lunch. That's June 8th through the 18th. Come check us out. And also join us on the website. You can shop, book online, listen to the podcast, Wichita Paramotor Coast to Coast. And you can find out what is paramotoring, learn to fly with confidence, professional paramotor training, beginner, advanced, and intensive training programs. Meet your instructor and get paramotor equipment and gear. Not only that, you can join our community and connect with other pilots. So definitely join us on wichitaparamotor.com. All right, so from the looks of it, looks like I can get back with Hot Buttered Steve.
Yeah.
There you are, buddy. So did you deliver your weed eater?
Yep, got the weed eater. There's some guys out flying their plane, so they're appreciative of that. And just want to do something nice for them because they got me such a nice spot to be able to fly. There's a lot of pilots that RC clubs don't let them do this. But I think what a lot of people miss when it comes to local communities is be a part of your local community, and then you can ask for a lot, give more than what you can take. So
I completely
just wanted to
agree.
make sure they had that before I took off.
Well, and in our sport, community is absolutely huge. We get the chance to join with a lot of people, and one of the things I love about paramotor is about anywhere you go in the country, you can put on Facebook, hey, I'm looking to fly with somebody, and there'll be somebody that'll reply, teach you what the locals are about, teach you what the local LZs, safe places, keep you out of trouble. It's I tell everybody, when you join paramotor, you're not just joining a sport, you're joining a community.
Yep. And I think on top of that too, for people who've been doing it for a while, like, don't discount the non-flyers in your community. Like, really focus on your community as well, because they can do a lot for you. Like, I've hung out in Kyle Glee's hometown before, and you go to a Walmart or anywhere, if they get a whiff that him, like, they're immediately like, oh, hey, how you doing? And asking you a bunch of questions. And because, I mean, there's a number of people out there that are like, I'm legally allowed to do this. I do what I want. It's like, and at the same time, if you fly, it doesn't make you special to people. Like, people have like an attention span of about a minute if you tell them that you fly, because it's just a crazy concept. But if they see the visual and they know that you care about, who they are as people, and it's not all about you, like, people, you might be able to open up things that you can fly in and do stuff. I've got a guy in town here. He just ordered a $8,000 bald eagle wing with like American flag for like the wingtips.
Oh, cool.
And already like the racetracks are calling him, and other public events to, do flyovers for their stuff. So I'm excited what he can do in town. Just because it just opens it up. Like, even on the West Coast, when I was there, Del Shanze had a lot of the West Coast and Washington and Oregon shut down, where we couldn't fly. And it's taken so long to kind of recover it. You got to wait for commissioners and sheriffs to pass or move on and develop new relationships. But, if you care about people as people and just talk to them and you ask nicely, people will move mountains for you 90% of the time.
I completely agree. I mean, here in my community, I moved out of, well, I'm still in the Wichita area, but I've moved out to a little town called Clonmel, and it's just about 10 miles outside of Wichita. The biggest feature of this whole community is a co-op. And I've actually had people come show up. In fact, our new flying field, these folks have their own private little airfield for ultralights and whatnot. And they're like, you have got to come out and fly with us. And, it all stemmed from when I was doing classes at Norwich Airport. I'd go to the local restaurants for lunch and say hi and talk to everybody we possibly could, so that, we became part of the community, not just, in the community.
Right. And we just got so many tools. Like, you kind of learn how to be a camera guy when you get into this. And like, if you can take those skills, and that's how I busted up into my small town in Oregon, is instead of making me the spotlight, I made them, and then I would do the edits on them and make them rock and roll stars. And they loved it. They didn't know me as a paramotor pilot at all. They were just like, it's Steve, the goofy guy that cares about us a little too much, and he entertains us on Facebook. And so there's a lot of power there to
I
really
lost
miss.
you. There you are. I think your truck took over.
Yeah, I really miss local community, and I wish I could do more of that. But the Lincoln, Omaha area is a big metro. It's too big and too concentrated to really do that. So I kind of miss small towns. Small towns come with their own quirks. I made the mistake of over investing in people rather than, just keeping the boundary and just being the friendly face. But you kind of live and learn with stuff. But that, to go back to, you know, the weird videos I make where I'm doing cheesy 80s rock and stuff like that, you know, so much of what people do when they make videos, sometimes it's, I miss like the nice old vlogs. I'll watch Kyle O'Glee occasionally, but when it comes down to just like a random presentation, usually it's somebody doing a stunt. And showing stuff like that. And sometimes I like it if I'm invested in the person. Like I like watching Ryan Gloka. He's one of my favorites of just whatever he's doing, because he's got, you know, a smile and personality, and I've talked to him a bit. What's that?
I said he's got pizzazz.
Yeah. But like for me, like I'm a super boring pilot, but I kind of like editing things to show, like kind of convey how it makes me feel. Because I don't need to do, you know, anything aggressive at all to really enjoy myself. Like my cup gets filled pretty quick. Now I still want to grow. I eventually want to mature. I don't need to do that quickly. But when I'm out there and I'm having fun, like I'm having fun 100% of the time. So like when I go and I edit and I make something that I share with people, I'm really polishing a big turd where it's just like, here's this average guy having the time of his life. If you looked at him in real life flying, it would be boring as hell. But to go and edit it in different and creative ways, like not only does it show how I feel, but it kind of gives a glimpse at my personality too. So I'm kind of expressing myself as a person.
Well, and, you know, I got to say, we love those expressions. You know, one of my favorite places to watch you operate, as you'd say, is in the Wichita Paramotor, or I'm sorry, in the PPG groups. I got Wichita Paramotor on the brain. It's almost like it's what I do. But watching you in the groups, the paramotor groups online, people, you know, they either you know, love you, or they don't know how to take you, or, you know, sometimes they hate on you. And again, like I said earlier in the show, the way you handle these people is absolutely epic. You can get a point across without being rude, and still, you know, because we all mess with each other online. That's one of the things, you know, at fly-ins, we're all buddies, we're all watching out for each other, and we all talk crap to each other online. And I'll tell you, the way you handle these things is just, I mean, it's got you're elegant, if that word fits, if you dare letting me say that.
Well, I'm not always, though. I mean, there's been times where I've kind of come back and I'm like, nah, I lost my cool there. And usually it's times where I'm facing like an incredible amount of stress or just horribly depressed. And then sometimes it's hard to, because I'm acting as a comedian sometimes, and you really have to like have some distance where you're listening, you're invested in somebody in your audience. And then, but there is occasionally where maybe I get emotional, and I've gone back and I've apologized to people because it's just like, you know, I lost my cool there. But at the same time, I'm a human being, you know, and when you're kind of a nut, you have to give yourself a little bit of a grace. Just like there's a lot of friends I have that are absolutely just freaking crazy people, but they're my friend because I'm one of few people that understand them and accept them for who they are. So I always try to give a lot of people a lot of grace in hopes that in times I need a little bit, that those people will give it to me, which I think everybody wants that in life.
I agree. Now, we've got a comment off of YouTube, because we are streaming both on Facebook and YouTube. Wesley Snipes 9454 says, I like your beard.
I'm trying very hard to never attract.
Tell us about the power.
I'm trying very hard to. I'm trying very hard to never attract another woman in my life.
Is it working?
This actually was born. This was born out of COVID, because when we had to wear masks, I was in a corporate environment, but I'd always grow a winter beard, and then when I'd go to shave it off, I'd have a day where I did it goofy like. And one of those times I did it like this, but we had masks on. So if I was in the office, no, it didn't matter. So I kind of kept it. And then I left that job during COVID, and it just became my moniker. Because it's kind of weird. There are people, I didn't have this when I started out flying. So there's a lot of people that know me without the beard, but I lose like 10 years of age if I go baby face. Like it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures. It's I don't know, you almost look like a different person.
It's going to be interesting. I haven't ever had it this long, so I'm sure when I go do free flight, it's going to be just going. So we'll see if I need to shorten it or not.
Have you ever thought of like augmenting the beard with you know, I don't know, paramotor logos, maybe selling some space on your face for that kind of thing, or you know, maybe you know, dolling it up with some color or something?
Well, I do just for men the middle because I grow a really crappy beard. Like half my beard hair is blonde, half is dark brown. So it doesn't fill out my mustache or anything. So I'll take just for men and color this end. I leave the grays on the side.
Nice. Nice. So I'll tell you, with every show, and you know, so far I've absolutely loved all the theories and the you know, confidence that you have, your appreciation for community. Now, one thing we always do on Wichita Paramotor is your big toe. So that's your big theory of everything. So, you know, give us an insight for hot buttered Steve. What I mean, what paramotor really means to you. If you were talking to a new guy right now, you're looking into your lens and you're talking to a new guy who wants to get into flight, tell him your theory of everything.
So I'm not a person that likes theories of everything because everybody is so different and we come from so many different backgrounds and so many different stories that, you know, it just depends. You know, you take guys that might have families and kids and they're super busy and they're like, this is cool. This is something I would like to do. But, you know, if your cup is filled by dedicating 100% of your time to your family and your job, and you're like, yeah, I don't know if I can go out and do this kind of stuff, but I'm really, really happy with what I'm doing now. You know, you shouldn't feel bad for not being able to do it. And so, but there's also guys with kids that, you know, they do fly and they are able to manage and whatnot. A lot of people get into this for different reasons. I know engineer people that are they're fascinated on the physics. They want to figure stuff out. There's really level-headed people that approach it at a very professional level of just, you know, they don't screw around. It's a task to them, just like they were flying a Cessna. Then there's a lot of ragtag people that, you know, they get into it because they experience a lot of loss and a lot of grief. Maybe they, you know, in that sort of where I came from, you know, I always tell people that, you know, I'm a huge loser. And there's someone that took objection to me saying that once because, you know, I have a lot of stuff out there. And even though I work a lot and I have a boring life, I do exciting things that a lot of people don't get to do. So if someone looked at me and was like, well, if Steve thinks he's a loser, what does that make me? So there's a caveat with that. I'm just saying that, you know, I'm really a nobody, but so many people come into it for different things. Now, the one thing I would tell absolutely anybody that, you know, a lot of newer pilots, they get a lot of anxiety. There is a lot of fear about it. And even when you get into it, you know, I've known guys who have flown for years and they get a bump when they're up there and they're back on the ground and they're questioning themselves. The number one thing to help anybody, if you want to work at it as hard as you can, enjoy it the best you can, is just take care of yourself. And that means alcohol is the number one detriment that will hurt your mental game and physical game. So that's the biggest one. Like if you can cut out alcohol, you're going to be a new person in a week, and you're going to be clear-headed. You know, go out there and kite a lot. You know, I'm 5 years in, and I just had the best kiting experience the other day where I proved to myself like I could actually make a cobra happen. And I can't wait to go back out in the right conditions and do it again. Because the more you're touching that wing and the more you're going around your equipment, you're eventually going to build up self-confidence where it's like, you know what, I need to strap a motor on and get up right now. So just eating right, you know, fruits, vegetables, staying hydrated, and try to temper. Like if you're a drinker, try to cut that out. And I say that as an alcoholic. You know, I'm a person that many years, yes, I do drink beer every night. And then when I'm not drinking beer, I am productive until 11 o'clock at night after I've worked all day, 6 days a week. I'm excited to go out to the field. I have all this energy and my brain's clear and everything. So that's a big thing with people, that if you actually take care of your body, you don't have to be working out. You don't have to go running every day to do this kind of stuff, because the only really big physical portion is when you're launching. But if you're just doing that, it's going to make you physically active. It's going to keep you busy. And then you're going to be in much better shape to go out and do stuff. I always tell people, if I would have done those things when I first started 5 years ago, I'd be 2 to 3 times the pilot I am now. And the only reason why I've made changes now is because I've realized I've robbed myself of so much joy and potential for growth over the years that I'm sick and tired of it. Like, I am ready to tackle life a little bit differently because I have to.
Well, and that, I have to say, that is a beautiful sentiment and very well put. You know, influences, you know, chemical influences, whether it be, you know, marijuana, the worst drugs, or alcohol.
Now, if you want, I don't have a problem if you smoke pot. If you smoke pot, you're not waking up the next day hungover, you know. But alcohol is chemotherapy to your body and brain. If you can cut it out, and if flying and doing more stuff when you're low on energy is that important to you, that's the best thing you can do in your life, is cut out alcohol.
Yeah, I agree. I don't drink anymore either. Now mine's more medically induced, but you know, I see a difference in myself, in how I interact with people. And again, like you said, the energy. Now, something I want to throw out here real quick. Landon March, good old Landon from EFD, says, I had some good times with that guy.
Man, I was always shocked at how welcoming Landon was, because like the first time I went to EFD in 21, like I thought I was going to get jumped. and everybody was incredibly nice. And, you know, me and Landon are, you know, we're totally two different people. And that guy has always made me feel so freaking welcome and at home. And EFD is my favorite flying to go to. And I've been to Salton Sea and Bad Apples and stuff. But that's what I really love, is when I find just people across the country that you never know the type of friends you can make. There's just so many different people. And when you find a certain bridge that connects you, it definitely brings me a lot of joy.
Yeah, and I'm kind of lucky. I met Landon through my wife, so she went to high school with him. She's local here in the Wichita and Douglas, Kansas area, and she went to school with Landon. And then when he started doing EFD, you know, it was kind of amazing, because, you know, I automatically had a connection through proxy. And, you know, my wife, I don't know if you know this, but my wife flies now. I don't know if you've actually met JL.
I've been following her. How do you say her first name? Is it JL?
JL, like the initials JL, but it's spelled JAEL.
Yeah. No, that was pretty cool. I've been following her since she first started. I'm super happy that she's been flying.
Yeah, her first flight was just so epic. I mean, just so perfect. Her launch was good. Her landing was good. She motored out on her second flight, and you know, she's dealt with some engine troubles and stuff like that. Now, she does not fly in the cold. She absolutely hates the cold, so she usually hangs it up for the winter, and then we get back at it, you know, every summer.
Yeah. the cold really sucks because you don't have your fingers to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like this winter, I'm taking a 3-week trip somewhere south, like Galveston. It's like, I might try to do some winter flying this year, but I am definitely taking a winter trip.
Yeah, we actually organize winter Galveston fly-in, not fly-ins, but through the school, we all get together, go down there, fly the beach, have a blast. You should totally join us this next year. I think you'd have fun. I mean, Galveston
Oh
is
yeah, that
beautiful.
flying in Laminar 12-mile-an-hour winds is one of the best experiences of my life because it's just all easy mode. You don't have to stall your wing on your forward speed, and you can just hop around and foot drag the entire beach. And when I went there with my buddies a couple years ago, right before Breezy died, we all like leveled up. Like I came back home and was doing touch and goes in the Midwest, like it was nothing, even though I'd never done them. And Galveston was a lot of fun. I wish Breezy was still around. He was a pretty cool guy.
Tell us who Breezy is for those that might not know.
His name's Fabrizio. He was Houston PPG, and he was a guy from Argentina. The first time I ever met him was at Bad Apples. I guess he knew who I was, and I heard somebody whistle at me, turned around, and saw this guy digging in his belly button. And then I eventually got to go fly with him at his home base, and just a super friendly but colorful character. And he passed away, I want to say about 2 years ago. It was paramotor related. I'm kind of guessing he might have been thrown down and something wrong happened, but we never quite got the real details on that.
Yeah, it was quite tragic for the community. You know, he had a great school. He influenced a lot of people in the paramotor world, put a lot of pilots in there. Say it again.
There we go. Nope, your audio had just cut off because I shut off my truck.
Well, I was just talking about how Fabrizio really impacted our community, and the loss of him was absolutely tragic. You know, it affected a lot of people.
He was the first friend I knew personally that I lost from an accident. I mean, I've lost other people, but some of them were like non-flying, like natural causes. But it does suck because you still remember them years later. But it's still nice having the experience of having known them when they were around.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, accidents and death can be a part of this sport, but like I tell all my students, it's generally experienced pilots that get injured because they stop following the rules, or it's complacency, or it's not going to happen to me, and then next thing you know, it goes the worst way possible.
Yep, low acro, power lines, and water.
Yeah.
That's why I like when I'm doing it. I find safe playgrounds that I've scoped out very well, and I'm not doing acro, but I'm still stacking all the cards in my deck. But I also don't fly very often at the moment. I'm hoping as soon as I get back from Utah, I start doing it on a regular basis because that'll improve my mood so much. Because I do love it. I think what's held me back more is just confidence. And when I had my big long break, because like when I flew out of EFD, I flew fine, but my takeoff form just sucked. And I used to be able to like nail every landing, a nice foot drag landing, and man, I was just plowing into the ground. So it'll be nice to get confidence back. And
I didn't land on my feet till about my 40th flight. I had just an epic problem trying to get my feet under me. Either I was face first or butt landing. And,
it took me about 30.
Yeah. There's a learning curve there, but once you got it, man, you got it.
I was at the Salton Sea fly-in on like flight 27, where I like actually started landing on my feet, and I kind of figured it out where I would just really commit to my flare. But then I eventually learned like do the foot drag, come in with a little bit of pressure, and as soon as your toe touches, do your flare, and then it just worked for me every time.
Yeah, same here. I actually have to credit Ron Turan for cleaning up my landings of all people. He taught me a 2-stage flare that just works. And now I use it in my school, and we get students landing a lot quicker.
Now, don't forget at D2F Paramotor, we've got advanced selfie training courses. And
That's
then what's
right.
my other course? Oh, yeah, the milkshake
Yes.
course where I can teach you how to bring all the boys to the yard.
Yes, I saw that post. When do you plan on launching that?
I don't know. I need a patron. I need help. I've got a best friend in Missouri that started teaching a couple years ago, and he's been wildly successful. I can't wait I want him to go make the store. I'm going to go visit him this summer, make him like a bunch of fun media, because he's my best friend that I've traveled the country with flying. So I haven't seen him in a minute, so I'll go do that. But Leo, I told you I could only give you a half an hour, and I gave you dang near an hour.
An hour,
but it's time for me. I gotta go.
I'm so grateful. Well, I want to thank you.
I done you good.
You did. Thank you so much for joining us on Wichita Paramotor Coast to Coast. And man, I think this was probably one of the better interviews I've had. You're full of personality. You're a good person to hang out with, and we love watching you online. So, thank you very much.
Who's
man.
we? You got a turd in your pocket?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got 2 actually. But I'd say that for the whole paramotor community. We really enjoy you out there, and keep up your antics. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. Can't wait to see those awesome free flight videos. Steve, Hot Buttered Steve, you have a fantastic time in Utah, and we will catch you on another episode.
If I don't see you on there, I'll see you in there. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Toodle.
Later. So that was an absolutely epic interview. I really enjoy this guy. Like I said, I've known him for quite a while, and he has always been very genuine and a lot of fun. So Stephen Minty on Facebook. If you're looking for a good time and somebody to hang out with, go check out Stephen Minty on Facebook. Now, we gotta do all the pay for stuff on good old. Let's see, how do I make this stop? There we go. All right. So we got to do all the fun stuff when it comes to paying the bills. Again, if you are looking for a paramotor, go check out Kangook America and get yourself a Kangook. Again, they are one of the leading makers of paramotors, trikes, and quads. And you can get all the stuff that you need on kangookamerica.com. On top of that, go check out lightflight.us. Again, you can get all your Viterazzi parts, get new machines. The MY25 has dropped. Again, that's M80, Atom 80s, EFIs, Moster 185, Factory R's, and Cosmos 300s. So go check out lightflight.us. Now, we're always geared towards the new guy when it comes to paramotors. So if you're looking to get into paramotoring and you want to know more about the sport, you want to be able to find an instructor in your area. And even if you're in the Midwest and I'm not the guy for you, you can find somebody on usppa.org. So go check them out. They've got all kinds of information, why to join the USPPA, the magazine. You can get tandems through them. You can fly at international events, continuing education, and more. And they've got all kinds of good stuff there. Now, if you are looking to find an instructor in your area, go to the top bar here, click on training, go to find a school. And a list will come up of all the paramotor schools registered with the USPPA. Go to the All States tab, click your state, or you can even search by name. We're right down here, Wichita Paramotor. So check out usppa.org. And also, you know, if you are in the Midwest area and you are looking to learn how to paramotor, looking for a school that can help you out, that supplies gear and get you into the air safely, go check out wichitaparamotor.com, where you can learn what is paramotoring, fly with confidence, personal paramotor training, beginner training, advanced coaching, and intensive training programs. There you can meet your instructors, get paramotor equipment and gear, and join the community. So check out wichitaparamotor.com. Now, you know, getting to hang out with Stephen Minty was actually pretty cool. But again, if you want to learn how to fly a paramotor, check out what we can do for you. Join us at Wichita Paramotor to become part of one of the fastest growing extreme hobbies in the country today. Wichita Paramotor is a full-service training academy where you train on our equipment and maximize your fun and safety. With a full ground school, mechanical simulator, and USPPA certified instructor, we give you all the tools you need to get in the air quickly and safely. Come hang out with us this summer and embark on the adventure of a lifetime. You got it all inside of you. Join us on the web at wichitaparamotor.com or call us directly at 316-990-0482. Again, wichitaparamotor.com. Now, I got to tell you, big thanks to Steve. This guy, again, is full of antics. He's fun to watch online, extremely personable. He's got an empathy for other people that a lot of people don't have. And if you want to learn more about Stephen Minty or hang out with him online, check him out on Facebook. He's in the paramotor groups. He's always got something fun to say. And if you engage him, he will definitely engage you. So also, I want to mention our classes again. Ladies only class, May 26th through June 5th. Check that out. Ladies, come fly with us. It's a sausage fest out here. We need some more people to keep us in tow and keep us in line. Also, the boot camp, it's a 10-day boot camp where we supply absolutely everything. All you really need is good shoes and a sack lunch. That's June 8th through the 18th here in Wichita, Kansas. If you want to know more about it, either give me a call at 316-990-0482 or join us on the web at wichitaparamotor.com. Remember, everybody, like, share, comment, subscribe. We love to hear from you. You can also find us on YouTube. That's youtube.com/@Wichita Paramotor. If you want more information and just want to hit us up by email, that's ictppg@gmail.com. Again, ictppg@gmail.com. I can't tell you, I've had an absolute wonderful time today. I love hanging out with Steve, and I love hanging out with you people. So if you want to learn how to fly a paramotor, go for it. I think it's probably one of the coolest sports out there. And I think you could get a lot of fulfillment and be able to live your dreams. No limits to your adventure. Well, anyways, folks, I really, really appreciate you hanging out with us. My name's Leo Kiesling. This is Wichita Paramotor Coast to Coast. Blue skies, everyone.